It's a wonderful week. This whole week we lived with Avram Avinu. I want to start off with a story about a bris. This is a story I told my children last night about the Malava Malka. Someone has texted me while I was sitting with my children at the Malava Malka. How important is the Malava Malka in Judaism? So my first thing was to answer, I'm too busy right now because I'm right now telling a story to my children at the Malava Malka. Then I decided that this is the type of question that I should ignore. So I didn't answer. Anyway, we know that Minyan Linyan, that our Rebbe, that Malava Malka was very, very big. The Malava Malka was very big. That besides the Din Shulchan Aruch, they used it as an opportunity, I think, to bring the Kodesh into the rest of the week, similar to the idea of the Yaakov Holach Ladar Kodesh. Okay, a remarkable story. I tell you right now where I got the story, which is it's a beautiful publication, Sichat HaShavua. Anyway, a family in Israel, Rishon, they're scheduled to have a bris. The local shliach is a Moel Elchanan Uchanovsky. Okay, calls the Moel the morning of the bris. Sorry, the doctor said that we can't have the bris today. The baby's not. What happened? It's the middle of the night. The baby had fever. Went to the hospital. Doctor said you can't have the bris.
So it was delayed.
And the Moel said, this is strange. I checked the baby yesterday. Baby seems. Do you mind if I come over check? Because the parents had already paid for a hall and the catering, and they already called a few people to say not to come. So he said, can you wait a few minutes? I come over to your house and check the baby. Can check the baby. Baby looks good. Al says, I want to ask you a question. I just want to give a wild guess. Last night you used this type of cream and you put it on the baby. They said, yeah. How do you know? Well, he said, "There's a cream. It's a cream that's out in the stores right now. People don't realize babies have a sensitive thing. Sometimes immediately, like the baby has babies have reactions to it, but it's nothing. It's just a temporary thing." Are you sure? He said, "Look, I'm a male for many years. I wouldn't do it chas v'sholem if I had any doubts in my mind." So they canceled the cancellation, and they had the bris. Everyone was very happy. After the bris, the father says to the moil, I'm really wondering why did Hashem do that to us? It's such an aggravation. We almost lost the whole cancer, the meal that we ordered. Well, so you never know. But okay. A few months later, the moil gets a call from this family. He says, I know why Hashem did it. Oh, what happened? He says, that morning I was so distressed, I was walking out. I walked out on my peset to my porch, and I was pacing back and forth. And my neighbor, she said, hey, what's going on? You look restless. So I told her that we canceled the bris. It was right before you came. And I was very upset. But then I said, look, the truth is, at the end of the day, there is a big, Rabban Shalom knows what he's doing. I'm sure there's a plan. Anyway, just recently a phone call from that neighbor. What happened was that day they were scheduled to have an abortion for their baby because the doctors thought that there was a problem with the fetus. But then that's why she was sitting on the porch in the morning. She was thinking about the abortion that was going to happen that day. Mm-hmm. And she said, when you said that you trusted Abana Shalom, I said, why shouldn't I trust? I ran into the house and I told my husband what happened. He said, you know what? We trust Abana Shalom. We'll cancel the abortion. They canceled abortion, and they had a baby boy, and the baby boy is nice and healthy, and they want you to be the moil. This is a picture of the moil with the two fathers and the two babies. It's happened recently. Unbelievable.
Hashem is so good.
Unbelievable. They saved the neighbor. Okay. So I want to start with this Indian, which is a lot of babies have jaundice. It's something to do with the blood in the liver, because the liver cleans out the blood, and it's a normal thing. 25% of babies have jaundice, higher or lower level. it's an issue that and we can't give him right away chopped liver to eat, to fix the. So so here's the thing. Okay, the reason I'm bringing it up, well, it's Parshas Lech Lecha Vayera. It's not a shiloh that someone asked me this week, but it really came very close to home because we flew to our Enikel's bris, and then all of a sudden my mechutin decided that bilirubin was too high, and it was 16. It's very high, and he's a male which is very like machmin on this. So he immediately called off the bris and said that we have to wait now 7 days.
It was no more?
Yeah, yeah. So we ended up going twice. So I said, you know what? I said to myself,
Come on, Shem.
I need every time he tells me, what Abzamashim Barkin Zakarin Bracha said, this one said, that one said. So you know what? When we're gonna be in Parshas Lech Lecha Vayera, we'll peek into the sugya. Why not? This is the time. Huh? Huh? Wow. Wow. So the bottom line is okay. So in Lubavitch, this is every Rav has the Zachro, and I'll show you soon. This is from some sites from this from the Rebbe Kiva that in Lubavitch, the bottom line is, and also here, there's a little bit differences, but the old Rav in Crown Heights, who is like his Piskidinim are very strongly kept, is that to do has to be under 10 to do it, and if it's above 15, not to wait a whole week. So that's Lapoil what's done. Okay. The reason why I knew in like places about because I lacked from them because they say it's not nishke sakona. They say, but I want to get into it. Why the thoughts of one. Just as we're starting, I'll tell you right away that there's in the last copy of what you have in your booklet a story from the Kiva Eger. We said the Gemara we'll talk about in a second talks about a baby who's green. So there's a big machloikis between Moelim. When the Gemara spoke about green, is it Tzahevet? Is it bilirubin? Is it or not? A lot of Moelim say, yeah, this is exactly what the Gemara is talking about. The Gemara is talking about when the Gemara says green, the Gemara is talking about what we call today yellow, and they're talking about jaundice. And Rebbe Akiva Eger says, yeah, a story that there was Inete says the name of the city that they held that there's above a mice, not what the Gemara is talking about, and that jaundice is not a problem. And there were mala baby, and Chmonot son baby died. And he says what happened was they couldn't stop the blood flow. So here there's a sefer which is written by a person who's a shtickle doctor, maybe it seems like he's scientifically informed, trying to figure out why would jaundice, maybe the blood could be thin. Yeah, that's what it is. So anyway, okay. So before we even start looking at the Gemara is going to talk about something called green. And today, Klal Yisrael Nemton, that what the Gemara is spoken about green is jaundice is what you see because when a baby is born, it has that like yellow tinge to their skin. Okay. The Gemara says two Gemaras. And whenever you start with two Gemaras, there's a little bit of fun because there'll be between this sugya and that sugya. The Gemara sagt in Shabbos of Kuf Lamadal of Tanya Omer Evi Nosen Pamach Zalach Lekrache Yam Bo Ish Achas Lefone Shamola Benor Ishin V'meis Sheni V'meis Shlishi Aviata Lefone. Reisiv Shu Odom. I saw the baby was very red. Marti Lo Amtini Lo Yachi Boloboy Domoi. Wait until the blood will go into him well. Himtino Lo Yad Sheniv Lo Beidoma Molo Yisavachoi. Lo Koyri Noisin Nos Nabavli Al Shemi. They called him Nos Nabavli. So from here, you know that the Yidden in the Talmud there was Faradim, not Ashkenazim, because they gave a name to right. Shuv Babach Asalachti Lebedinas Kaput Kayo Ubo Isha Achas Lefone She Mola Benori Shenomeis Sheni Vemeis Shlishi Vebias Lefone Yisif Shu Yor. I saw that the baby was green. Itzatsti boy Veloidi Yisif boy Dam Bris. I saw that he doesn't have any dam bris. Rashi says that if they would make the bris, the baby had no blood, and no, you need a little bit of blood to drop out, to drip out. As you can imagine, many scientists wrote papers on this. Like, what do you mean? How did the baby live if it didn't have blood. Pashtus, but pashtus. He meant that there was some type of blood condition. Either there wasn't enough blood or whatever. But anyway, but Ashitaka says that there was no blood. No, not a drop of blood is going to come out. So that could be anemic, right? This is one of the things. What's the pshat anemic?
There's no red blood cells. There's low red blood cells. So there's not enough blood production.
Yeah. So that's Taka, one of the doctors who wrote a paper on this. And they think it's anemic. But if he was right, so then, it's anemic. Jaundice is not anemic. It doesn't mean, even if jaundice is not the york of the Gemara, it doesn't mean that it's not something to consider. The shaila is when the Gemara said york. So not everyone learns like Rashi anyway. But if you learn like Rashi, could be york really means anemic. It sounds like york according to Rashi is something quite serious, not just jaundice. Amarti lo, Antine lo yachipel boydamai. Wait until the dam will be yipol boydamai. It's interesting. If I read it says yipol boydamai, it says yipol boydamai. Again, if it's anemic, it would be because yipol boy is that I found the red blood cells.
Right.
That's the pshat in the lashon yipol boydamai. Sometimes Chazal use Lashon, it sounds funny to us, but then you have to, like what it means. V'imtinu loi, u'maloi savachoyo, v'yakor nois shmoi nosen ha'ba'avli al shmi. Again, the same. There was a happy ending in both stories. The first story, the baby was red, and the second one was green. The first one he said, wait until yibola boydamai, and the second one says, wait until yipol boydamai. Okay. The Gemara saying,
Are you saying about the Sfardi name?
Yeah.
Mike, my name is Sasson. My son is Abraham. His son is Sasson. It's 7th generation.
Ah.
7th generation, and everybody lived in 1995.
Wow.
What's AI? Like jaundice, it could be a greenish type of jaundice, or it could be a abnormal hemoglobin, which is a condition that wasn't bloods and clot. So it's green is it's possible.
That's that the blood doesn't clot. That's probably what happened in the case of Akiva Eger. Yeah, the blood was yeah, the blood didn't clot. That's probably what happened. And that's when the Akiva Eger was very broigus. Yeah. Okay.
Today the Mohalim knows a little bit about medicine, about medical.
Yeah.
Just cotton, that's it.
No.
They have to know a little bit.
Well, very careful. The Mohalim.
It's not no baby guts.
Yeah. The Mohalim are well trained these days. And this that Rebbe Akiva says there was a community, Sotake, but today Mohalim are very, 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 very
but
careful.
But doctor doesn't have to check the baby before the Mohalim. That's my question.
They make you take the baby to the doctor. Most of them will not do it unless there's pain.
The Gemara is talking about the Gemara talks about a case when a person made a korban pesach, and after he shecht the korban pesach, he was chayiv to give a bris milah to his son. The Gemara asks, how is that possible? He shecht the korban pesach, he didn't have a son to give him a bris. Like, you do the bris on the 8th day and the morning. So what happened? The Gemara says, "Bishlam avodah mishkachas lo v'yisi b'shas achila v'las b'shas asiyah." You're going to Zavnina b'nei b'nei. He made a korban pesach in the morning, and his way back home, he went through the shuk shel avodim. He saw a slave, a good slave. He bought him. So now, a shayach that when he made the korban pesach, he wasn't chayiv, and now before he eats, he's chayiv to do a bris. How are you going to have such a case? Lav the sialud ben asiyah la'achila. Is it that he was born? But so it means that if his wife had a baby in between, he's not allowed to bring. And the Gemara says it's mashman even without a bris. And the Gemara is saying, so are you telling me that before day 8, if I have a baby, I can't bring a korban pesach? No, the Gemara says no. Amarova, but Tisbury could say such a svara. It's not shayach to say that the Torah is going to say, don't break the Korban Pesach because you had a baby that has a. No, if you're supposed to make the milah and you're being lazy, then the Abisha says, I'm not going to let you have the Korban Pesach. It has to be that he had chama, which Pashas means a high fever. He had high fever. The baby had high fever. So, so the Gemara, and now, so in the morning he was burning with fever, the baby, so he couldn't do the bris. And a few hours later, the fever went down. So the Gemara says, no, that can't be. The Bezoiv and Nesef like a Shiva. The Amashmul Chalatz Techam, Nesef called Shiva. So Gemara they vino like a Shiva. The name of Tzafra. So Gemara no beinam is less. Vatani Luda Yem Avrasa Kem Evolda. My la my Evolda la beinam Mesas Yem Avrasa la beinam Mesas. Loi Adif me Yem Avrasa Yem Evolda. Yem Evolda la beinam Mesas. Avrasa beinam Mesas. Gemara saying bottom line that you have to wait 7 days. Me'es le'es. You're counting hours. You're not only counting days. You're counting hours. Right. So you're counting hours. You're counting hours. So what happened was in the morning, if you're counting the hours, you didn't get yet to the last hour of this of the 7 days. It was mutter for him to shech the Korban Pesach, but now it's also for him to eat the Korban Pesach. Okay. So it's very interesting how the Gemara a lot of times very important din that gets fleshed out from like from a kasha teretz and also from an unusual case. But that's the way the Gemara is. So the Gemara says, Amar Papa, the Papa said a different teretz. We go on the Kollel Ein Liyanuka V'itpach Beni Beni. It was a smaller disease. It wasn't such an unbelievable disease that his whole body was burning with fever. They had a problem with his eyes, and with eyes, Chazal were very careful, even with the slightest things with the eyes, that the eyes, that a person's health could be affected by his eyes. And so the kid had a cave in the einayim. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So they checked the eyes and they saw that the baby had is good. And then a few hours later they checked and everything was good. So b'shas the Korban Pesach was made in the morning, he was able to shech, but now the father can't eat until he does the bris. They came out in the middle. Okay. Okay. The Rambam. So I'll tell you right away what's the discrepancy between the two Gemaras. The second Gemara says that sometimes you wait 7 days and sometimes you don't wait 7 days. Sometimes when the baby's burning in fever, you wait for 7 days. From when the baby's healed, you wait 7 days. And then
14 days?
From when the baby's healed, you wait 7 days. So if you take
temperature for 7 days.
And then you wait 14 days, yeah. Then you'd wait 14 days. Yeah. So
from the point that you stop being sick. So what's the day 4?
So if it's day 4, then it wouldn't be 14 days. Yeah, it depends. So one Gemara says that you have the idea of waiting after the kid is healed 7 days or 0. And then you have another Gemara talking about when the baby is very red and very green. But the other Gemara, very red and very green, the Gemara doesn't say if you wait 7 days or immediately. A little bit smashma right away you could be mal the baby because it says Amarti lo hamtini lo v'tina lo v'choyo. So a little bit smashma that way that when it comes to the color of very red and very green, that you don't have to wait 7 days. But it's not clear in the Gemara. So now let's learn the Rambam and then the Shulchan Aruch, and then we'll see what the Poskim say. The Rambam says Choylei Me'ul Noise Acha Yavri. All the Poskim are going to be kvetching in the Rambam holds that chalatz techama doesn't only mean fever. Any type of serious machla, which is if you learn Rashi in the Gemara, it sounds like it's only chalatz techama. Again, the Rabbi answers. The Rambam thinks that chalatz techama is an example and kovo einav is an example. And the Shulchan Aruch will explain what he thinks that Rambam meant. And then next halacha cotton shnimtzu b'shmini shaloy yorg b'yoyser ein moilano said shikol b'dam v'yachzam arav kemar aktanam abrim. וכן אם היה אדם ביועסר, כמי שצובס, אמרנו שבאדו בידם ויח זמן כשרק קטן מפני שזכוי לי הוא. וצריך לזהור בדברים אלו ארבע. There's a Pirush called Bnei Binyamin, Matriple Badam Yach Zamar, V'mur, the Ein Tzarech Lamtem Shiva Yom, V'loi Kayad Ktana, which says you have to wait 7 days with a green baby. Next for Sheklal Advora Bezach. Rav Agon, Rabbi Yaakov, Heirani Mashach, Shedaita Kesef Yad Ktana. I looked in the Shach, I didn't find any diet to the Yad Ktana, but anyway, that's what he said. His diuk is because the Rambam says Ad Sheyipol Baydam, which is like the Gemara Mashma, that you don't have to wait any 7 days. I don't know if it's the strongest diuk in the world.
Every baby's yellow.
Huh?
Before 8 days. So the babies are yellow for a couple days.
Right,
So you wait 7 days.
right. If every baby, you're gonna wait. Okay. The Rogachav and Sefnis Paneach, lo Ratzalem lo shetina kuchayla. He said, the Rambam said, the Lashon the Rambam is, mipnei shezeh choyli hu, that this thing that the baby is yoruk or odom is shezeh choyli hu. Lo shatinu kuchayla. Tim ken tzarel hamting zayin yom rak shahadober hu choyli. It's a diuk in the words of the Rambam. It's unbelievable how every word in the Rambam gets squeezed. Very interesting chiddush he has. He says that that if the baby was born with a color very red, very green, so then we say it's not. This is a chayli. The baby is not a chayla. This is a chayli. So therefore, you don't have to wait 7 days. But if it happened later, I don't see how it's so meduk in the words that I'm just listen. The Rogachover, don't try to fight with him, because if you met him and you try to fight with him on his diukim, he'll okay, just showing you. Then the Shulchan Aruch. Yeah, sure. Be our pleasure. Please, no, not sorry. Very good. The Shulchan Aruch here today is who knows this Rogachover? How do I know the Rogachover? Is because I'm now working. I'm looking on the computer and then I click. So right away I get open the fortune on the Rambam. You know what I mean? Shulchan Aruch here today is Simareish Samach Beis. Kollel ein mal in Oiset Sheyavri. Mamtinin loy meishin is rap mechol yeshiva yomim meis leis vaz mal nois med varum mishcholat sacham kiyotz shokeli shebechol aguf. The Rambam added kiyotzi boy, and the Rabbi Yosef Cairo is gita hasbora. The Rabbi Yosef Cairo is saying any chelas which is shebechol aguf, and you have to wait that the baby is healed, and then you wait 7 days. Okay, skip the brackets. Next, Simon. Here today, Reish Samach Gimel Tzif Aleph, Cotton Shu Yorek Simon Shalom Nafal Baydam, V'Mal Nasher Shei Yipol Baydam, V'Yachzer Marav Kemar Sharik Tanim. V'Chenim Tzadam Simon Shalom Nivla Dama Beivarim, Be Ela Bein Or Labasa. The dam is Bein Or Labasa. Emal Noiseh Shivla Baydam, Tzarech Lazar Me'oid Be'elu Advarim. Now he adds to the Rambam, very strong line. Shein Walam Vlad, Sheesh Bachshash, Choyli, the Sakonis Nefoshes, Doiches, Kol, Shefshel, Alamoya, Lachazman, Vi, Efshel, Ahachzer, Nefesh, Achas, Mi Yisroel, La'oila. It's a very, very strong losh. Okay.
Why are we treating the baby like a niddah? That's a very unusual.
Okay.
7 days you have to wait.
I
Yeah.
went to a bridge. My friend, a long time ago, friend of mine, he had the suit and everything ready, and the Mario checked the night before. When he came to the bris, the Mario said, "I can't do the bris.
Yeah.
You have to wait." What he saw in the baby, I don't know.
There's a story, one of the Rabbeim that way. And Tzemach Tzedek, I think it was the Rebbe Marash, right? It was the middle of the, and the Rebbetzin was very upset. She said, "We already made the Suda." And he didn't care. Like he said, even though He said something to his wife, like,
Stuff, eh?
even though you're very, you're the daughter of Chulu, when he said you're Bas Talmid Chacham and everything, but I'm telling you, the Mila cannot be. And we made a beautiful Suda, so Adarabba, we're going to have a Suda mitzvah. And that's what happened.
That's
Taka.
So
I had the Suda,
They made another
and then there was,
Suda when he
yeah.
had the bris.
it's
Yeah.
a holy baby if you make two
They made
children.
it the same day.
When? No. They waited a long time afterwards. Oh, I didn't look into the Shimas about it, yeah. Okay. Okay, let's look quickly. Turn the page. Chuvim the Avni Neiser. Simen Shinchov, Sivkot and Hey. Bedvar Kot and Yorik Ba'odem, Shekotsav Sefer Yadak Tan, Alhamta, Akash, Shov Marei, Kabori, Piva Yamim, Kamoi, Sharkoil. The Yad Ketana says that a baby that's green or red, you have to wait 7 days. That means a baby that has, again, we consider Yorik jaundice. Nire, v'lechoyre nire poshet zayn din lechoyle rak shnafel by adayin domo, or live by adayin domo. Achloshn Rambam ba'odem shezachoyli, or legam yorekein. The Rambam said by one of them shezachoyli, probably meant legabi both. Tamachaber hishmit loshon shezachoyli. Agam das Rambam aloy b'marich shevi bezis mavorish sedavke v'chil shesh b'skona. After schanem shechanar vam shevachoyli kol agam tenis am yomim. Alesos magam ken sheyag. Shiachzer Marav Kishartanim Yamoelos, Yeshlem, the Svirla Denza Holy Kipshata Yamora. And with Vadla Dinak Shiachzer Marav the Shartanim Yamulu, Rag, Zois, Nidal, Meloshna Ram Shafanoro. The Afa Mishunak Tsas and Marav Shartanim, Baevish Metchilo Yakach, and Merlin, because of Raman Kamash Tzova, so and that Georg Biosa, and Adam Biosa, coming Metchilo Yakach, Shuv Afim Nishak Tsas Mishunam Amtinaloi, Achi Yachzer Lagamri. Very similar to the Rogatchev's word. He says, "Smashma to him." Also, this word to the Rogatchev. If the baby was born like that, like a tchila, it's a small problem. But if it happened later, it's a big problem. The only difference is the Rogatchev thinks that if it happened later, you have to wait 7 days, and he doesn't think you have to wait 7 days. So we see that the big poiskin who thought that Yoruk is not like Choyli Kol Aguf, big poiskin that thought that Yoruk is not like. So who thinks not that way? It's a diuk from the Tzemach Tzedek in the Gro. It's very funny that the Tzemach Tzedek should be medayik in the Gro. Okay, turn the next page. Tzemach Tzedek, the last piece. Simeresh Tzemach Gimel. You see the last few lines over here. Yesh la'ayin kabetimnik shu odem, a baby which is red. The mamtinalite shivala b'damei imam here. Right over here.
Thank you.
You see? Yeah.
Tag.
Yeah, right over here. Yesh lying. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, actually, by the way, don't make me out. My little, the mashma where Rashi. From Rashi's mashma, a baby which had odom, as soon as the color turns good, you right away do the bris. Enech and zayin yom halamishal chalat sechama. Imkein havalei let a papa shem l'shnoi document skin shoy odom nevla beidam ben asil achilam. So why did the Papa Taka say? The Gemara talks about a baby who's green or red. So why didn't the Gemara say that the baby was green and red, and after he brought the Korban Pesach, the color turned good? Elamashma, that in that case is Mamtina Lo Shivas Yamim. I don't know. It's not the strongest deal. So take himself is later going to slug it up. Anyway, the Rambam Batur because what's the Kama Ukayuitz. Shadran, so Pede, Kerbalaz the Mila says that the Duke Yoitzab is a Hainu Koili Kolaguf. That Koyoitza means any Koili which is the whole body. And that's the way there should be of Cairo and Amton, Shukhanor and Amton, but he's a Koilihu, because of Rambam. Vagamkim Koili Koilal Kolaguf. And he's saying maybe you could say in the Duke in the Rambam, when the Rambam said like the Koila Bari. Hareza choylihu, the opposite of the Rogatcheva. Hareza choylihu, this is a chelas, which is the whole goof. The color is a chelas, which is the whole goof. V'chei mashma v'agro, simen reish samach gimel, sif kot na'alaf, v'mashkos of tzorich lizor, sheher amokum l'simen reish samach beis, d'haina sheyesh loy lahamtin shiva yomim. The Gro, in the second simon, is mitzayin to the earlier simon. When in simen reish samach gimel, where it's talking about when it's talking about the color, the Gra says, "Oh, look in the previous simon." So that's what it says. Mashma that the Gra meant to say that the color is something which is a choila b'chol aguf. So it seems that Tzemach Tzedek is noted to say l'chumra that the color is really a choila, and when the Rambam said hareza choili, the opposite of the Rogachover, the opposite of the Avnei Neiser, that hareza choili means it's a chelas of the whole body. And therefore you have to wait till the baby is healed, and you wait then 7 days. And the Rambam said the baby shenimtza b'shmini shelo yorek. Mash ain't tzarech lahamtin. The im loikein. Afil ein yorek b'odem b'shmini. Im b'yamim rishonim. Yev shalom ayla acher shmini. So why did he say b'shmini? He meant to say, because as soon as the color will change, you'll be able to do the bris, even if it's b'shmini. It's not the strongest raya. He says it's a masha. You would say that the Rambam was dugma noket, because it said the Rambam says cotton shenimtza b'shmini shelayor. Because when does the moil come to check the baby? Today the moilim come a few days earlier. The Rambam they came b'shmini. He says maybe that's the duke. The Rambam said b'shmini, and he said that the color was not a good color. So you have to wait until the color will be good, and then you can do the bris bishmini. Okay. The hokamoy can have motzalamem shamunim is bazir oven ben asir lachila. This is saying that the fact that a papa didn't say the baby was green and the color changed between making the korban pesach and eating the korban pesach, he could have said other tirutzumei. The papa was just gave one example of the eyes, but anything else would be the same thing. Akaponin Ladina, he says, so Tzemach Tzedek says, I'm not sure what's the pshat in the Rambam. I'm not sure what's really the pshat in the Shulchan Aruch. I'm not sure what's the pshat in the Gemara. There's a tzad to say like this, and there's a tzad to say the other way. It's taka nish klor in the Gemara, nish klor in the Rishon. Therefore, Mitzveke Yishivimant in Shiva Yomim. Yishalmi paid Rebelaz Demila Isach Latz to come next Shloshim Yom. The cotton Chanel Bates of Nefuchim Vaydem Shikha B'Shem Husar and Pop Chaslesani Shistapik and Mamlosiyat Chaslesani Kidin Eber Kidin Kov Eber Echel Bedilma Kimish Shuhu Eber Amila from Etzvei V'nira Rayim because of the Meyeruchim Betumtum Shenikr B'Yem Ches V'nim Tzazach in the middle of Miyat V'much Megamora L'Cher Zel Gamke Eber Amila. After became in Ches Yom and Mishas Akriya or Mishas Aloida Vir Shlitchas the Osam means a cave cloud behavior Tated the Malin Lay Miyat. So okay. I'm just going to read it quickly because I just want to get to Miyos Sheharav Beis Yosef. Beyoy Day Hilchas Mila at Simonation Machbeis. Kosa B'Shem Aritva B'Inyan Yoyma De'eva V'Yoyma De'Shuta Shemish Ein Reitz Listen Kol Shem B'Sem Hashem. Barshus B'Yod Litchas Mitzvos Mila Shiz B'Zmana V'Shaper Ovi. Rav Mokum Shemaylam Achshav Ein Chosh and Klal Barshus B'Yodam Litchas B'Shem L'Chosh V'Shaper Ovi. The olden days, the Gemara says that if it's a cloudy day, it might be dangerous for the baby. Don't do the bris.
Cloudy day.
Cloudy day, yeah. Yom Deva. So the Ritva says that even though Bisman is given the dosh beirabim, given the dosh, there's a lotion chazal, given the dosh. The Kinos Torah, someone said a beautiful chat. What do you mean, given the dosh beirabim? Said there's like a puddle. And if you go into the puddle, it's slippery. So if you go into the puddle, you slip, a chas shom fall. What happens if a lot of people go through the puddle? It's no more water, so it's not slippery anymore. Even the dosh beirav and even the dosh. So the Shulchan Aruch brings that the Rishonim say, what happens if a person says, no, I'm scared. I'm scared. It's a cloudy day, and I'm scared about making the bris today. He has the right to push off the bris. So Tzedek says, "Im kein ledvor of kol shkem kavachem nidnzeh shechosh shemachem shavi aim hoyle choyli harozay umeis bialduse v'nira shu b'mishpachtoi sherashay mechuyev litkes al zman shavu shvuayim." There was the mommy's father had a thing called choyli harozay. What's the choyli harozay? The soive v'aloy de harozay. What was the choyli harozay? He didn't have enough food to eat. So turn the page in Sefer Abris, which has a whole big piece about what does it mean green or red. ידוע לנו מחלה משפחתית ודם המסכנת סכנת הנימול שסימון הצהבת, which is jaundice. הצהבת הזה נגרמת על ידי הרס hemoglobin. Next page. Right over here. Second, I'll start again. ידוע לנו מחלה משפחתית וגם המסכנת הסכנת הנימול שסימון הצהבת. הצהבת הזאת נגרמת על ידי הרס ההמוגלובין. שבו מקטצה מחויסה תמה של סוגי דם ההורים.
By the way, they have it now in Israel. I
What?
know. Which I have it.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Some tinokots was dead and they're giving
Uh-huh.
a flu shot or something.
Oy migoidem rizus. Raises factor. Hanimtze betoich dam ha'av v'atinek. Okay, he writes about the from doctor Preuss lo yoch leida tiv shamach lazuk kim shafros kela there's gala 30 shon acher for sifri. Okay. Anyway, this was a doctor who tried to figure out what's shot in the Gemara. You know, at the end of this page, I'll show you here. Next, turn to next page, to the back page. Loy tamet kal roifel hachlit. Im atzahevet shuroi b'yom hashmini u'siman shel machla mamashit heres adam rak siman shel vashlut mocheret. He says sometimes the jaundice is a siman of something serious, and sometimes the jaundice is nothing. So it's very hard to figure out. That's what he's saying. And at the end of the page, he brings the story for the Bekiva Eger about the baby that died. So so the bottom line is like this: that it's a discussion. When the Gemara said green, is it jaundice or is it not jaundice? From Mirashi's pshat, it doesn't sound it was jaundice. It sounds like more a very serious machla. What would you say before? Anemic, right? It sounds more like the baby was maybe anemic, and therefore the problem was that the blood couldn't congeal. Oh, I'm sorry, that's starting to Bakiva. I'm sorry. Anemic, that wasn't red cells in the dam. Bottom line is, Moilim today in Lubavitch go with the psak of the Zalman Shimon Dvorkin, and if the baby has jaundice, they wait for the jaundice to be under 10, and then they do the mila. But if the jaundice was over 15, they consider it as if it's choili kol aguf. It's not clear in the Rambam and the Gemara. You understand? The Gemara says green. We don't know what green, if green means jaundice. Even if green means jaundice, so we have a shaila. It had to be medayik in the two Gemaras in the Rambam. You have a diuk this way or that way. Is green something you have to wait 7 days, or you don't have to wait 7 days? So, but Lapoil, that was the way Reb Zalman Shimon Dvorkin said that you should do. That if the baby is above 15, you should wait, and you should consider that this is choyle b'chol haguf, and then wait 7 days from when the baby is healed. So, and otherwise, just to wait until the jaundice goes down to under 10. So my Mechuden told me, ask your wife. He felt very bad. He said, ask your wife about the bris at the end. She wants to have it on Wednesday and Thursday. I said, I should ask my wife. My wife is not a posek. He said, no, but he says now the shaila is the jaundice has to go down, right? So he said on Wednesday it went down to 10, and on Thursday it went down. It went down to 10, and on Wednesday, and on Thursday it went down to 9. So he said, now we could play around. I feel very bad. Your wife went once or twice, so ask her when she wants to have the bris. In the meantime, there was a story that my son-in-law told me that the Rabbi Glukowski, that the baby was born, and right away the baby it looked like it had jaundice. So he wrote a note to the Rebbe asking the baby to have the bris bitu b'zmana. So the Rebbe didn't answer, but next day the baby cleared up. He lives in Israel, and it was before Yom Tov, and then the Rebbe was giving Kosher Baruch, and the Gabi of the shul walked by to get. So the Rebbe gave him, looked at him and said, "Tell Rabbi Glukowski a bracha bitu b'zmana." This wasn't ready. Anyway, someone called me up this week. He was sitting with his buddies. He lives somewhere in Middle America, and they said that they need a new judge in the town. That the judge is and they want this Yid to become the judge. If it's mutter or asur.
Months of that, the whole Jewish church.
So we once spoke about it, but I hear it's not only it's mutter, it's a mitzvah. This is all goyim. It's not in Israel, and he's not going to be adjudicating for Yidden. So I said, "This is mamish." You called me up, or you called me up on Thursday night. I said, "This is they made Avram Avinu the Sar v'kotzen on the whole world, and also in the Rambam we're learning now in Hilchas Nezikin that the goyim get punished for not being shomer the behemoths." So what do you? I said, the goyim have to have dinim. What do you think that the goyim have to have dinim? Some silly law that were made over there in Albany or in Turkey 500 years ago? The laws that govern dinim by the goyim should be based on the Choshe Mishpat. So I think it's a good idea. Anyway, this week I was learning my daughter Kapitel Yud Ches in Tehillim, and it's a very interesting Kapitel Yud Ches is also Kapitel Chav Beis and Shmuel, and just a few words are different. So the last is Magdol Yeshus Malkev Oisel Beches Lamshichel David Zara Doilam. And in Shmuel it says Migdol Yeshus Malkoi Oisel Ches Lamshichel David Zara Doilam. And the minig is that Shabbos. No, Shabbos by benching. The by benching. Where do we say by Musaf different? No, it's in the Samazim.
I know, but when you say Magdol and Migdol, it's based on because most.
We don't have. Oh, you're saying if it's based on this is the shaila today.
Oh.
This is what I'm going to discuss. And it's totally a musaf or not musaf. But this is what we're going to talk about. So look inside the last paragraph. Kosav Magen Avram b'Shabbos v'Resh Yomer Migdol Yeshuas or b'Chol Yomer Magdil. The Choylem hu Melech Godel v'Chiluk below you the Melech Cotton. Why is a Choylem a Melech Godel and Chiluk is a Melech Cotton? So I tell you about Pashtus because Choylem is on the top, Chiluk is on the bottom. I know it sounds funny, but that's the way it is because Choylem is on the top, so it's Melech Godel, and Chiluk is on the bottom, so it's Melech Cotton. I don't know. That's what I think. Voy the Magdal tzim b'Tehillim v'adayin loy molach David, which is a pella because if you learn the Meforshim on this Kapitel Tehillim, v'yom hitzelois mekaf koloiv v'miyad shol, they say that it means b'soif yomov, that he was from all enemies. It must have been that Abu Draham didn't learn that way. V'yom hitzelois mekaf koloiv v'miyad shol, he meant was when adayin loy molach. Okay. According to some Meforshim, contemporary Meforshim, the Tehillim was written later than the one in Shmuel. So okay, but Avraham doesn't hold that way. Okay. Anyway, but never mind on this and the Ve'oid, I would say Migdol and Magdil, there's a few nekudas. Magdil is a choser. There's no yud really there. So mole and choser, mole is more choshev than choser. Number one. Number two, it's a difference of a choylem and a chiruk. And number three, I would say the Avraham Han didn't say it, but it's a poshut. What is Migdol? Migdol Yeshus Malke. What's a Migdol? Anyone know what a Migdol is? A tower.
Yeah.
Tower. What means Magdil? Enlarging. Kima kima. Kilasun shel Yisrael is kima kima. According to certain, there's a medrash that says kima kima. It says Magdal Yeshus Malkoi. Shabbos. We're expecting it shouldn't be kima kima. We want Shabbos. We say it should be Migdol. It should be a fortress. It's like Agrois. That's Melech Godel. Migdol is meramaz on a from it's bonu meshulchul. It comes down in Hashemayim. But look, on Shabbos we can't build a base of Mikdash. The only way it has to come down, whole built. We have to go with the shita that it's coming down from heaven. But during the week we could say Magdil with a yud, which is slow. So in the Lubavitcher Siddur, it's before we get to Lubavitcher Siddur, one minute. The Kaf HaChaim, always have to look at the Kaf HaChaim. Why? Because he's from Baghdad. No, I'm joking. The Kaf HaChaim, whenever you won't find anything anywhere, you'll find it in the Kaf HaChaim. The Kaf HaChaim says, "Kosav Shama Knesset Agdoila." ולפי דעתי אין להם מגדל כי בשבת וביום טוב אבל בראש חודש אומרים מגדל אבל מנהגים להם מגדל אפילו בראש חודש והטעם שמעתי because the pasuk says חודש ושבת מקרא קרא so it's a remez that also chodesh you read it the way it's in the Navi, not in the way it's in Tehillim, which is Migdol. Migdol. Why? Because the Sudas Matzah Shabbos is very choshev v'suda.
Oh, yeah.
Anisha Ma'iti b'shem. I don't know who that is. Shigam b'sudas bris mila al pisoy deroi loymar migdol chesed lavram ois chesed whatever. And b'sefer, not sure which sefer. Kisav yad isa shigam b'sudas purim yom migdol b'shvil ois haora niglas b'yemahu. And that's from the Ben Ishchai Parshas Chukas ois yutes. ולפי זה, זוג כף החיים, needed גם בסודס חוסן, נשיא המסכתי, יש להם מגדול, כיוון שיש האורש על מצווה. So, Lamaisa, I don't know what to do, because the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch says, Noig Elam b'Shabbos v'Yom Tov v'Rosh Chodesh migdol, kamosh kosa v'Shmuel, u'bechol magdil kamosh kosa b'Tilim, v'Simen, Chodesh v'Shabbos mikra kara, that in Chodesh Shabbos, you read it the way it's b'kra, Ratzaloim kamosh kosa b'Nevim, and Mashenkin, otherwise you read it the way it's B'Ksuvim. The Nevi'im is more important than Ksuvim, right? So how would the Alter Rebbe hold if it was Sudas Malava Malke, or if it was or all these other Sudas mitzvah? Mitzadu Echad, the Alter Rebbe in the Siddur wrote, Shabbos Yom Tov Reish Chodesh. Mitzadu Sheni, you could say, Otoki Ruchle Lechoshev Velezel. What do you want? You should say, Shabbos, Yom Tov, Rosh Chodesh, Malava Malke, Siyam Masechta, whatever. But on the other hand, the Alter Rebbe in the Shulchan Aruch only brings the remez, even though he doesn't say that's the reason. He says v'simen Chodesh Shabbos Pra Mikra. So I don't know. I guess it's totally in a person. If you feel Matzah Shabbos, you know that this is you light the candles and you know you're making a small malava malka, a big malava malka. Small malava malka is magdil. A big malava malka is migdol. So, so I mean, I remember I had just cousins from Eretz Yisrael. I was a little kid at the table. A silly joke. Someone asked, "How is it possible to say Magdol and Migdol at the same time?" So I was a kid. I don't know. So the answer was, if you make a mistake, silly joke. You remember? But it's not like it makes a big difference. You know, you don't go to jail for one way or the other way. But for sure, if you want to follow the Kaf HaChaim, it's a nice Geshmak Ezach, because we always want to have that the Yeshua of Baklal Yisrael should not only be in Oifim for Magdil, which is Kima Kima. We want it to be Migdoil. It should be big. It should be Melech Godel. Okay, so L'chaim, we should have Yeshua's in a way of Migdoil, in a big way. Thank you, everyone that's joining us.
Well, I think
Sure.